fine early group we've got there. I wasn't sure what the propagation was going to be like. I got the report, the solar propagation report this morning, like I always do on Fridays. And it didn't sound good, but you never know. So here we are. Anybody else looking to check in, give me a call, KJ6810.
W6RBJ, Whiskey 6 Romeo Bravo Juliet.
Okay, I think I copied W6RBJ.
Roger, roger.
Okay, W6RBJ, I've got you down on the list. Any other check-ins, give me a call, KJ6810. Relays for early check-in. All right, nothing heard. Well, we can take a little miniature go-round here. I've got N6AF top of the totem pole, followed by W60Q, and then KF6QNG. And then W7MS up in Reno, and finally W6RBJ, and then I'll stop to take any other check-in. So up to you, N6AF and the group, KJ6810.
All right, very good. Good evening. Thanks for herding the cats, so to speak, Max. N6AF in Emerald Hills, Redwood City. Running the KWM2 through a small amp, about 300 out, to an off-center-fed dipole. Just got back from the San Mateo coast there with my wife. We were hanging out there at Pescadero Beach for a while, and it wasn't real warm over there, so we turned up the thermostat by getting in the car and driving back over here where it was a good 10 degrees warmer in the mid to upper 70s. All right, W6DQ and 6AF.
All right, Chuck, thank you. And 6AF in the group, W6DQ. And Dennis down here in Neokern, where it's currently 89 degrees and a little bit of cloud in the sky. Nice day today. A little slight breeze. Very pleasant weather for a change, but it's going to be getting warmer. But yeah, I guess the high today was only 90. It looks like tomorrow it's going to be a little bit warmer, but then it's going to cool off a little bit for the remainder of the next week. So I'm not going to complain about that. We're just watching for weather on Field Day here, but for once we're going to actually be indoors. We have an air-conditioned place we're going to be in the senior center in Ridgecrest, so that's going to be cool. It'll be a little cooler on here. It's supposed to be 91 this year. Last year it was like 110, so I'll take the 91, I'll tell you. Max, good signal down here. Thanks for taking the net tonight. I bet you got some nice electrical activity up there last night. We sat here watching that last night up in the Cosos up there and a little bit farther north. Seemed like you were right between two cells. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that. Anyway, over to Lisa, KF6QNG from W6DQ.
Okay, thank you, Des. Thank you, Max, for running the net this evening. Yeah, it was quite a spectacular light show. So we opened the blinds and were able to lie there and watch. Pretty cool. Then it started moving closer to us, so Dennis had to go out and lower the antennas to be on the safe side, the wire antennas, the main antennas, and power grounding. But anyway. So with that, let's see, I'm going to turn it over to Mike, W7MS from KF6QNG.
Well, thank you, Lisa, KF6QNG, and the great group here. W7MS, Mike in Reno. And good evening to you, Max. Hello, Chuck, Dennis, Lisa, and Ron. Good signals from everybody. Some local man-made noise, but that's not too much of a problem here, other than I wish I didn't have to listen to it. But we'll see how it goes tonight. And tonight running Don Collins, kind of on the inspiration of Andy last Friday, but running a ITT Mackie MSR 8000 transceiver, and that's driving its companion solid-state amplifier, the MSR 1020, to 1,000 watts output via those bipolar transistors. But that's the lowdown here. So over to Ron, W6RBJ, W7MS.
W7MS and the group, U6RBJ. As usual, Mike, you're blasting in here. I think Reno has a straight shot into the redwood. Your top of the list here was about 10 over, but everyone else, G5 copy, coming in really nicely. No noise up here tonight. Chuck, you're a +5, and Max, you're about an S9. Dennis and Lisa run about an S6. So we finally had some warm weather today. It's 73 degrees here. This is a real heat wave for us. So, but it's cooling off now. So back to Max. See what's cooking. Anybody else around? So KJ6, HN, and the group, W6RBJ.
Okay, Ron. All right, signal reports all around. Everybody is, I've got some local noise here for some reason. And Ron, you were kind of in the noise. I'd give you a signal report of S5 to S6. It varied a little bit. Everyone else, Mike, Lisa, Dennis, Chuck, pretty good copy, S8 to S9. The noise right now is a problem. And usually I don't have noise here in Darwin, but tonight I've got noise. So don't know what to say about that. So some comments. Chuck, Pescadero Beach. Oh my goodness, growing up in Palo Alto, how well I remember Pescadero Beach and San Gregorio Beach and some other beaches. What a great experience that was in my youth. There were times when I rode my bicycle out to the beaches. That's a long haul, an all-day deal. Dennis and Lisa, it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit right now in Darwin, quite a bit cooler than Inyokern. And the lightning show last night, oh my goodness, I had to get out there with my cell phone and take some videos and shared them with my friends on Facebook. Wow, it wasn't so much a lightning show as just all the sky around Darwin was just flickering, like every 1 to 2 seconds or less there would be a lightning burst, and within those lightning bursts, every minute or so, a solid bolt going from the clouds to the ground. So it's pretty impressive. And Mike, good evening. We'll get back to you in a moment as we go through the go-around. And let's see, I think that's about it for signal reports and comments. So is there anybody else looking to check in? Give me a call, KJ6HN.
W6MVM, William 6, Mike, Victor Mike.
Okay, Mike, I've got you down there, W6MVM. Anybody else? Well, I don't hear anybody else. We're at the end of the list, but Mike, why don't you go ahead and take a turn and send it back to me. W6MVM and the group, KJ6HN.
KJ6HN, W6MVM. I got in here just when you started the go-around. Good to hear everybody tonight. Everybody's pretty strong, particularly Mike up there. He's booming in 20 over. You're booming in 20 over here at the ranch on the 32S1, 75S1, 30L1, and a big G5 RV and a D104 mic. Anyway, I got a club meeting tomorrow. I'm kind of sharing it, so I got my code practice oscillator and a couple of bugs and everything. I was kind of going to demonstrate a new way to learn code, or a better way to learn code. Learn it by word. Conversational code, anyway. Contest code is a different language. Anyway, so I was going to bring that in. But also field day. We got field day here at the ranch. K6TUO, Tuolumne County. Kind of a rare place. So K6TUO will be active on CW and SSB here from the ranch where I am. Anyway, back to you, Max, KJ6HN, W6MBM.
Okay, Mike, real good. Yeah, thanks for the reminder about field day. I don't always participate in field day. I'm not competitive on ham radio by any means. But sometimes I chip in on field day for handing out contact points to other people. And Darwin's kind of I don't know how desirable Darwin is, really. I don't even know the grid square. I'm just not into that kind of thing. But it could be that a contact with a ham radio operator in Darwin could be interesting. And so I'll get on the air on field day and give points away to other people. And maybe what I really long for on ham radio is rag chewing. So I'm just not a contester. But anyway, we'll see what happens on field day, and maybe I'll jump in there and hand off some points to other people looking for them. All right then. So is there anybody else looking to check into the CCA net on Friday? This is KJ6HN.
Kilo Whiskey 1, November Golf.
Kilo Whiskey 1, November Golf. Okay, very good. I forgot your name. I've got you on the list. What's your name?
Analyst Ken, Kilo Echo November.
All right, Ken. Thank you for the name. Anybody else looking to check in, give me a call. KJ6HN. Well, Ken, you're at the end of the list, too. We've got about a little over 2 minutes to go. If you want to take a turn, go ahead. KW1NG from KJ6HN.
Okay, real quick, on the S-line tonight, 75S3C, 32S3, 30L1 into a 85-foot long wire with a 9-to-1 balance bottom, Sharp 444 mic. The shortest day here today is Alpine. We're about 30 miles east of San Diego at about 1,800 feet, and real nice day today, in the mid-70s, and it's beautiful. So, anyway, we'll turn it back to you, KJ6HN.
Okay, Ken, good transmission. Good copy, armchair copy, I would say. So, nice day here in Darwin as well. I rode along with a relatively new guy here in town to go get the Crystal Geyser water from Melanchthon, which is about a 70-mile round trip. And we've got our water treatment plant running again, but we've got such a low flow from the spring, 7 miles outside of town, coming into the treatment plant, that we're still using the water, which Crystal Geyser donates to us, which kudos on them. They're very generous. And whenever I go there to pick up water, and I showed the new guy, his name is Tom, to do the same thing. When you go to check in the warehouse, always say, we're very thankful for the water that you give us. Thank you very much. So that's how we're getting by here, along with our spring water. The flow seems to be increasing a little bit. We've got about 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a gallons per minute coming into town, which is a little bit more than what the town uses on a regular basis. So that's what's going on here. All right, so last check for any early check-ins, please give me a call, KJ6HN. Okay, I just retuned to the 3895 frequency. Could you give me your call again, please?
Jeff to Chino.
Okay, I copy Kilo Juliet 6, India Romeo Victor, Jeff, in Chino, is that correct?
Close, but no cigar. Kilo 6. India Romeo Zulu KK6 IRZ.
Okay, thanks, Jeff, for the correction. So noted. All right. Well, we're at the bewitching hour, and so I'm going to kick off the roundtable. This is KJ6HN, Kilo Juliet 6, Hotel November. My name is Max, and my location is Darwin, California. I will be your net control station this evening. Welcome to the regular Friday evening West Coast edition of the Collins Collectors Association CollinsNet. We meet here every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Time to exchange information on Collins radio-related topics. We welcome questions and comments on the restoration and operation of Collins amateur, military, and commercial gear. Those who are in for the numbers to check in are always welcome. You don't have to be running Collins equipment to join us. Anyone with an interest in Collins radio is welcome to check in. The purpose of the CCA is to promote the preservation, restoration, and use of Collins amateur radio equipment and to preserve the history and lore of Collins radio. In addition, we provide a technical and historical information archive for Collins radio information. The CCA is licensed by Rockwell Collins to use images, logos, manuals, and printed materials. For more information about the Collins Collectors Association, its forums, activities, services, and how to become a member, please visit our website at collinsradio.org. That's collinsradio, all one word, .org. Please help our efforts by joining the Collins Collectors Association. Before we begin, are there any announcements to Collins Collectors Association members? Are there any other check-ins? Please call KJ6HN.
WJ6W.
WJ6W Dave in Tarzana. Good evening. Anybody else? Give me a call. Well, I don't hear anybody. We've got a nice compact group here tonight. So let's start with the roundtable. We might even do a second go-round here. Depending on how your net host feels about that, I'm overdue for my afternoon nap. So to start, we've got N6AF, Chuck, up in the Bay Area, and then over to W6DQ, followed by KF6QNG, and then up to W7MS in Reno, Mike, and then Mike handed back my way, and we'll get things rolling. So up to you, Chuck, N6AF from KJ6HN in the group.
Thanks, Max. That's great. KJ6HN, N6AF, and again, running a 1963 KWM2, and the repair of the PTO was quite a challenge, mainly physically just getting in there, but that was a while ago, so I've got a little bit of my own effort in the radio, so it's fun to use it. In any case, let me see. I'm going to hit a couple topics really quickly. So I like it, Max, whenever I tell a story, something I've been doing in the area, and you've been there. Maybe an hour and a half ago, at the end of Pescadero Road, where it tees with Highway 1, the Coast Highway, I pointed out to my wife. I said, "You see those bushes over there, kind of down the hillside there? I slept behind those back in 1971 when I rode with a buddy on our bicycles from Danville, where we lived, and we rode from Danville to Pescadero Beach, and then we had our Grey Goose down sleeping bags attached under our seats, and had some food and camped out there, and then rode all the way back to Danville the next day. So today going over in the car was a lot easier. And remember, you couldn't go across the Dumbarton Bridge on a bicycle, so we had to go loop around down by Milpitas and Alviso and so forth to get over to the coast. So the other comment, I don't really have any plans for field day, but MVM there, good evening, Mike. You popped a memory into my head there. Also around the 1971 time frame, my buddy and I on motorcycles convoyed up Mount Diablo late in the evening after dark. We pushed our motorcycles around the gate that was closed down at the bottom there of the Southgate entrance by the Athenian School in Diablo, and drove them up. And then when we got by the first ranger station that's occupied, we shut down and we pushed them past the ranger station and continued on up to the top of Mount Diablo and hung out with the Mount Diablo Amateur Radio Club and watched them do field day. So that was our sneak night field day experience. Over to W6DQ, this is N6AF.
Very good, Chuck. N6AF in the Collins net. W6DQ here. Well, very good. Well, sounds like field day. Yeah, actually going to be inside an air-conditioned building. This is going to be wonderful for a change. Let's see, what are we running? KWM 380 Alpha 87A, usual stuff out to the horizontal loop, but second tower's up in the air again, and it's got a nice 20-meter mono bander sitting up on top there, along with a 6-meter 5-element Yagi. I'm going to be having some fun. 6 meters over again. It's been a while. The antenna has been non-functional for quite a while, so good to have all that back up in the air. What a chore getting it up now. Putting up assembling, installing, and putting up a tower by myself. No assistance. That's a job, and I'm worn out. It's been, I do a little bit every day. Yesterday I spent almost a full day working on it, but usually I spend about a half a day, in the mornings working on the antennas. But I'm almost done with everything. I've got the two wire antennas up on the towers, the dipole, the 40-meter dipole, and the 8075 inverted V. I've got to get those the cablings going into my building penetration area, where the coax comes into the building. It's not terminated yet. They're just sitting in there. I haven't figured out which. I've got a bunch of polyphasers in there that connect up to. I got to figure out which ones I'm going to connect to, and then I got to route the cables over to my antenna switching. And I've got to rerun a cable for the rotator. I think I removed the old cable. I don't think it's here back anymore, so I've got to run that over. And that's got to be terminated at the, what do you call it, basically the static discharge unit in the antenna closet. So all that's got to be done. It won't take long. But it'll be nice to have all that up in the air and running. We've got the 10-meter Yagi up in the air, but using that antenna works very nicely. It's got a good height on it. That thing's up at almost 60 feet. So the 20-meter is going to be about the same height as 60 feet, which is where it was before I took it down. And that's always been nice working with antenna. So I'm looking forward to having that stuff back up there. We're going to be, Mike, MVM Mike, we're going to be WA6YBN, that's Whiskey Alpha 6 Yankee Bravo November. That's our Sierra Amateur Radio Club. And we should be on, we'll be on sideband CW as well as probably some FT8. We'll be doing a lot of FT8. got some guys that are really into that, including myself. I like running FT8. I've not run it in I did run a little bit. No, I did run it last year. I didn't use FT8 last year, but I've never done any contesting with FT8, so this should be an experience. But been working a lot of DX with it. Worked, Ducey, DP6A. Worked Ducey, 2 bands so far, 12 and 15. They've been really coming in strong here, and I really dig what those guys are doing with their DXpedition, with their rig in a box, as they call it. Basically a boat that they land on the island, and it's all controlled via from their boat offshore, their tender, which is sitting offshore. And they basically just land this thing. It's like a rib with wheels on it. They roll it up on the beach, and it's got all the antennas and radios and all that, and it's tied by Wi-Fi. Well, not Wi-Fi. It's got probably some kind of a link back to the tender. And then the tender's hooked up by satellite, and the guys that are operating the station are literally all over the world. There's guys in the U.S., guys in Europe, there's a guy in Singapore. It's just really neat what they're doing. So that's Victor Papa 6 Alpha, and they're on all bands, on all modes. So it's pretty cool what they're doing. That's going to be probably the way of the future. It's non-intrusive, gives them a good way to get onto places that are ecologically off limits, like places like Ducey, where they can just land the boat there and operate everything by remote control. I just think that's just great. They've done a great job on that, so I'm looking forward to more of those. They just completed another one. I'm trying to think where they were before. They were on another island and did the same thing. That was their proof of concept, and it worked really well. So anyway, enough said. Over to Lisa, KF6QNG in the Collinsnet, W6DQ.
All right, thank you. Yeah, a lot going on. Oh, it's been extremely hectic couple weeks at work. And then my boss is on vacation for 2 weeks, so it's going to be hectic couple weeks again. So, oh well, keeps me off the streets, keeps me out of trouble, I think. See, what do we have going on this weekend? We have some kind of Kids Day event at our local library here, and their Find Your Voice is the name of their event this year. So we're going to use ham radio and be able to communicate with them and have people stationed there and at their homes and various places, and let the kids operate give them the key for their Morse code alphabet, so they can write their name and then send it in Morse code and get a certificate. So that was benefited by the at the Mountain County Fair when they did that at the fair. So anyway, this is interesting, and see what kind of participation you get. So with that, I'm going to send it over to Mike, W7MS from KF6QNG.
Well, thank you, Lisa. KF6QNG and the Collins Collectors Association Friday evening net, W7MS. And Mike and Rena for the folks who have joined. Good evening, Ken. Hello, Jeff and Dave. A little bit of challenge on those signals based on distance and maybe antenna orientation, but we'll see if they pick up. But nice to hear you guys, either from Q2 to Q5 on the latest round there. But good evening to you. And everybody's keeping busy, whether it's Chuck's Nostalgia, sneaking into East Germany there on Mount Diablo, past the guards in the Stasi there with the park, the state park system. But that's a great story there. And Dennis is extremely busy, a one-man operation there. And I guess probably Lisa's taking care of massaging his lower back, I'm sure. It's quite an amazing round of projects there. And Lisa's going to be social for the weekend, and that's fantastic. And to Max, keeping an eye on the water budget. And I was kind of curious, based on last week's description, if you were still in the queue for bottled water, and you answered that question based on the supply considerations. So it's and congratulations on breaking in the new resident there on the tradition of doing the water run. And Ron, well, thanks for the good report. Same for you. Doing quite well, as is Mike MVM. I would say plus 10 to plus 20 for both of you guys. And not bad at all. And I think as far as field day comments, well, I went to lunch with a couple of amateur radio friends here. That was, in fact, yesterday, and there was some comment about maybe getting together at someone's residence for a little barbecue and some not quite so serious field day operating. So we'll see if that progresses in that vein. But that would be a nice casual day, and not pursuing it as for the numbers, but maybe for the operating experience. So with that, it's back to Max, KJ6HN W7MS.
Okay, Mike, good copy on your signal and everybody else so far. And yeah, we're still doing the, even though the water treatment plant is operating, as I alluded to earlier, we have such a low water flow coming into town from the springs, which is about 7 miles southwest of the town, that we're still sort of dependent on Crystal Geyser to donate us the water, which we're very thankful for. And so until such time as the flow increases, which nobody knows, you know, it comes bubbling out of the ground at different flow rates. We don't know. It's just we're happy that we all have water, and the treatment plant is operating. So the receiving water tank takes in water from the springs, and when it reaches the high level, there's a float inside, and it turns the water treatment plant on, and then it begins pumping into the treated water tank, which is slowly, ever so slowly, becoming fuller than it was. So we're happy for that. So let's see. N6AF, yeah, talking about radios. Well, my 30S1 Collins amplifier, I still need to replace the band switch, and that is just, it's so difficult. Stainless steel fasteners that you can't retrieve with a magnet, et cetera, et cetera. I've mentioned that before in the past. And Danville to Pescadero, wow, what a bicycle trip. That's incredible. So when I was in my youth, 13, 14, 15 years old, something like that, me and some friends would ride from Palo Alto to just before Pescadero, where the artichoke fields were, and we'd make camp hidden in the artichoke field. And somebody would have brought along some aluminum foil and, of course, water, and we'd build a small fire from debris and snag some artichokes and wrap them with foil, and then just before we sealed the wrap, we put some water in there so they'd steam over the campfire. And boy, those were tasty. I think that was back in the days in the late 1960s when artichokes were like 25 cents a piece or something like that. So that was a lot of fun. And Dennis, I saw some of your tower raising videos on YouTube or on Facebook. Those are pretty good. Yeah, and that reminded me that I needed to get busy with my two AB557 war surplus antenna towers, and I just haven't, with the water treatment plant and dealing with local politics and everything, I just haven't had the time, but I need to cut myself some slack and do that. So those are my comments, and let's see, yeah, that's about it. So is there anybody else looking to check in? Give me a call, KJ6HN. that. Let's see, yeah, I've got my amplifier on. Let's see. Yeah, it's kicking out the legal limit. So the next group, W6RBJ, difficult copy last go around, but maybe a little improved this time. And then RBJ sent it over to W6MVM. And then Mike sent it over to KW1NG, Ken. And then Ken passed it over to KK6IRV, Jeff. And then at the end of that list, Jeff sent it over to Dave, WJ6W, and then back to me. So off we go. W6RBJ in the group, KJ6HN.
J6HN and the group W6RBJ. Well, a fine copy. We've got low noise, but Max, you're in here at about an S6. But I've been able to copy everyone so far.
RBJ, I've got you. There's somebody transmitting.
It's time to get my KWM2 out of the box and work on cleaning relay contacts. I noticed that there is some variation in the amount of
copy, but somebody's
power
transmitting.
out I
Please stay
get
quiet if you would. Thank you.
Hit the push to talk switch from time to time, and I wonder if I've got some failing contacts here. Just a couple of quick comments if I'm not being well heard. I thoroughly enjoyed hearing the comments that you had, Chuck. I spent 9 years in Palo Alto going to Stanford Medical School and doing a residency there. And although I was stuck in the school a lot, the wife and kids, when I get some time off, we used to love to run around out there too. I remember one favorite spot was what we called Bean Hollow Beach, where we go out and have picnics. But yeah, great memories there. And the other thing, just for the group, I've been trying to nurse a KWS1 back to health, problems with instability on tune-up, and I was really pleased that I finally was able to find the infamous / famous SB7 today online by Kevin, and so I'm getting ready to try to dive into it. The other project I have is my 75S1. I've got it sitting here on the bench, and I've been listening to the roundtable on it, and then shutting it down and going to my KWM2 with the 3001 when it comes my turn to talk. But that's a fun little receiver. I'm amazed. For the first try of the S-line, it still does a great job. So at the risk that I'm not being well heard, I'm going to pass it on now down to Mike, W6MVM. And Mike, you had a great signal in here, I must say. But to Mike, W6MVM and the group, W6RBJ.
W6RBJ, W6MVM. You're coming in here about S9, and not that bad. Good read. Not as strong as some of the other guys that are 20 over here at the ranch. We're doing field day here at the ranch. Field day's fun. It's a good little contest. But if you really want to do a contest where Darwin's going to count, do the California QSO party. You'll love it. You'll love it. You'll get mobbed. And from all over the country. California QSO party is my other favorite contest. And please do think of doing that there, Max. I think you'll love it. And everybody else, my first field day was in 1960. I carted a DX100 and an SX101, probably the two heaviest rigs ever built, out to a park in Honolulu, right across the Alloway Canal. A couple of our guys in my high school radio club, I climbed up the palm trees and we struck up a 40-meter dipole, and a lot of people came around to see us. It was great fun. That was 1960. So anyway, and I'm sitting here looking at a key. I told you I was dragging keys out to give a CW demonstration at the radio club meeting, and I drug out my wife's first key. Her brother gave it to her in 1944. So it's an oldie. She is Marie Ann. She's K6IOY, which is her father's call sign. Her father's call sign. She couldn't escape it. Her brother, her father, and her first husband, and then me are all ham radio operators. Anyway, I thought I'd point that out. And I'm supposed to pass it to Ken, and I didn't get his call. Anyway, Ken, go ahead and take it. W6MBM.
Very good, Mike. Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes I've got good copy on everybody, and sometimes we don't. Tonight's one of those not so great. But I got some of what Mike and Lana are saying. Anyway, very good all field day. Yeah, we're going to head down to the El Cajon website. They always set up there with a big tower and so forth, so we're going to see about joining in, participating just a little bit there. And water. Yeah, we have a well here in Alpine. It produces about 3 gallons a minute, something like that. And we have a 3,000-gallon storage tank, so we use water out of the storage tank, and then it goes into the filters. I don't filter it before the tank. We filter it after the tank. But, that has been working for about almost 25 years now, so with a few new pumps in between. I was able to find a CW filter. I told Dennis about this on the Vintage Net, and it turns out it's an 800 hertz filter. It's the 526-9446, something like that. Not the 9696 that I wanted, but it's an 800 hertz filter. I'm sure it'll be better than the SSB filter in CW. So that's good. And interesting, Dennis, on the remote operation, driving a remote module up onto the beach, and then remotely linking to it, and then getting to it by satellite, talking all over the world to that. I guess that's still operation on that piece of land, so very good. More power to them. That's really interesting. I don't have much more here, so I'm going to pass it on. And we're going to KK6IRZ. Take it away. KW1NG.
KK6IRV, it's your turn. Go ahead. KK6IRV seems to have checked out. So over to you, Dave. WJ6W, what's up in your world? And then over to W6RBP, and then back to me.
Okay, Max. Very good. Thank you. KJ6HN and WJ6W. With the Collins Net tonight, everybody's pretty good copy here except for one or two there. And let's see, I think Jeff, he might have got called away. His wife is out of the country in Vietnam taking care of her mother, and sometimes he has to break away and make phone calls at certain times, I think. So that might be what happened to Jeff there. Yeah, talking about field day, very good, Dennis. I know you're all excited about it. I always, the last 2 years I remember it was always a really hot day and uncomfortable. Maybe this year we'll get a break and it won't be all that hot. So I don't know if I'll participate or not. Sometimes I just go out in the yard and hook up to my antenna and call myself, operating field day, whatever class that is. Anyway, might do that, but hopefully it'll be comfortable. And Mike, a DX100 on field day, I can only imagine that takes a lot of desire to do that. Of course, that was back in the 60s. What a change. What a change in the world of everything, but rigs here today are way different, much lighter. And see, Max, on your water flow, it's interesting that you mentioned you have low water flow now, but I know during the worst of the drought you seem to have pretty good flow, except you couldn't use the water. So So you're really kind of been unlucky here with that. But maybe now with all the rain, eventually that'll percolate down and your water flow will increase again. So it's kind of interesting you have a low water flow now with the rest of the state just almost drowning in water. So anyway, I think I'm going to turn it over to, I think it's November 6th RVP, N6 RVP, and then if you would turn it back to KJ6810 when you're done. Go ahead. This is WJ6W, Dave in Hardback. I guess we left it.
W6RVP, are you around? KJ6810. Apparently not. So we got two people that checked out for whatever reason. So let's see some comments here. Yeah, KW1NG, you were talking about your small water system and storing the water in a 5,000-gallon tank, I think you said. So here in Darwin, we've got spring 7 miles away from town, and that feeds totally by gravity into the water treatment plant area, and the intake tank for the springs water is 14,000 gallons, and there are floats inside, low level float and a high level float. And when the high level float is triggered, if the treated water tank, which is 55,000 gallons of water, it needs water, then the raw water tank turns the treatment plant on and it pumps water. And it's about 9 gallons a minute inside the plant. So that's how the system works out here. And then, WJ6W. It's interesting about water in the West. Like Mark Twain said, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting. Even though Oroville Dam is full and Oroville Reservoir is full, and so many of the other reservoirs, we don't have a reservoir here. It just comes bubbling out of the ground, and we take what we can get, and we use it sparingly in the summer, and in the wintertime, we usually get a lot greater flow, and people aren't using swamp coolers, people aren't gardening, and we usually have overflow, and the overflow fills up some additional tanks below the water treatment plant, and those tanks are used to irrigate the community garden that we have here, which is about, it's a plot maybe about 40 feet by 15 feet wide, and we grow lots of good vegetables there, peppers and other fruits and things like that. So that's how we do it here in Darwin. Let's see, I'll pause here. Is there anybody else looking to check in? I think we have another go-round coming up. Call KJ6810.
Whiskey Alpha 6, Juliet, Kilowatt, November, WA6, Jacks, Kings, and 9s.
All right, Kevin from Gilroy. Thanks for checking in. Anybody else? Somebody, but it was pretty distorted. Try again. Nope, no copy. Well, Kevin, since you're the caboose, why don't you take a turn and then we'll send it back up to the top of the list. WA6JKN in the group, KJ6810.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it back to you because I have no idea who's at the top of the list. All right, very good. Thank you very much for putting me on the list. I'm not sure who's all out here, other than I know I didn't hear much for the past, a little while. Very bad conditions. I was here about quarter till, and it was very poor. Took off, came back, still weak signals. And I did hear Dennis's transmission. He's got a not too terribly strong of a signal, but congratulations on getting all those towers up, Dennis. That's a big deal. 6 towers is what I heard. Man, oh man alive. Okay, well, I don't have anything to add other than I'm alive and well, and all is good in the Gilroy garlic capital of the world. So back to you, and thanks for running the net tonight. WA6JKN.
All right, Kevin, and sorry, it does go back to me. You're the caboose at the end of the train here. So glad you're alive and well. That's definitely a positive attitude. So, well, it's 7:35. I've been on the air for 45 minutes. I think we've got time for another go-round, especially since some people have checked out. So let's run her back up to the top and see what happens. Let's see, do I have any comments here? W6MVM. Yeah, thanks for letting me know about the California QSO party and also your XYL K6IOY. I've got that noted in my logbook here. So that's it. All right, back up to the top. N6AF, Chuck, it's your turn, and then send it over to W6DQ, and Dennis over to Lisa, KF6QNG, and Lisa over to W7MS, and then Mike back to me, and we'll see what happens. Up to you, Chuck. N6AF, KJ6HN.
All right. Thank you, N6AF, and good evening there to Kevin. Looks like I've got my dinner / ham transmitting multiplexer properly synced. That worked out perfectly. My shrimp top salad is almost done. So let me see. Made a couple of quick notes. I do have an addendum to my sneak to the top of Mount Diablo for Field Day story from around 1971. We went back up there the next day. I guess it was Sunday noonish to help with the takedown of the towers and antennas and so forth that were set up near the top of Mount Diablo. And this is kind of a sad sequel, but we were standing there, and I saw a guy at the top of one of the portable towers drop a boom fitting, a big chunk of aluminum, and there was another guy standing at the base of the tower, not wearing a helmet. So he dropped to the ground unconscious, like he'd been hit by, a mushrooming Full Metal Jacket, if you will. So a couple guys hauled him down Northgate. I think they went straight to John Muir. So that is the always wear a helmet, a hard hat, when you're under those towers. And if it's a rowdier field day, you probably ought to wear your hard hat the whole time. That my wife would probably advise me to do that. Second comment, talking about water. Your appreciation, Max, of the water availability, it reminded me of Mr. Valentine from Mars. Now, don't worry, I'm not going crazy here, but I've got a fluid stream of thought going here. In the famous sci-fi novel Stranger in a Strange Land, we learned that water is very rare on Mars, and sharing water is an absolute honor, only second to being eaten upon your demise, but that's a whole different topic. So water is life. And we have been enjoying, my wife and I, the open aqueducts in the lower Sierra towns like Twain Harte, Murphy's, Jupiter. They're a little bit up the hill from Sonora. All these, this water distribution system of open aqueducts they call ditches that run around the various towns there, and originally mainly put in to provide an energy source for mining and milling and whatnot. And now, they are at this very moment providing drinking water to a lot of those communities. And my wife particularly likes taking morning walks along those ditches. You meet the neighbors and people walking their dogs and so forth. So the ditches of Twain Harte and thereabouts. All right, over to W6DQ and 6AF.
All right, Chuck, very good. Stranger in a Strange Land. Great book. Oh, man. Great book. First, let's see. Was he the first Martian? No, he wasn't the first Martian, but he was a Martian. Yeah, Stranger in a Strange Land. Great. I haven't read that book for years. Man, oh, man. That's amazing. I like some of Heinlein's stuff. That was a good one. Oh, well. Anyway, you got me sidetracked there. Yeah. One of the nice advantages of working on this stuff by yourself is there's nobody up in the air dropping tools on your head. But on the other hand, Lisa will attest, if you saw me on Zoom right now, my arms are a mess from bruising. Well, they're not bruises. Well, they're bruises, but because my blood is thin and the skin's so thin, they just turn into these big red splotches. My arms are covered with them. The best one came from, I think it was yesterday. I was drilling a hole for to pin the rotator to the mast, and I'm using a electric drill, and the damn drill jammed. It caught a burr, and the bit jammed, and the thing swung around and slammed into my arm. It's like, oh man, it didn't hurt, but it sure looks like ridiculous. It's like crazy looking big bruise on my arm from that. That's what that's from. Yeah. I only drew a little bit of blood over the last couple of weeks too. one little cut yesterday from a sharp edge on a bolt that I cut off. So anyway, oh well, too much fun. But usually, yeah, she insists that I need to be wrapped in bubble wrap when I work on this stuff. But at least, like I said, nobody dropping any tools or parts on my head, thankfully. Yeah, that's something you got to be careful of when you're working on towers. And we do have a couple of guys here in town who are climbers, and they have been working on. They actually have been out working on one of these towers in years past when Jim was still alive here. One of the guys came up to help him with that, one of his antennas up on one of the towers. So that, yeah, watching for guys up in the air. Anyway, Max, thanks again for running the show tonight, and wish everybody who's out there for Sunday have a nice Father's Day, and look forward to seeing everybody next week, and hopefully see some of you maybe on Field Day. So yeah, I will be here next week. We'll be setting up for Field Day, putting the tower up. We got a portable tower we're going to set up in a tower trailer. So that's going to be our project next Friday night. So maybe use a portable rig. We'll operate, put up a wire or something. Maybe catch you guys next week. But anyway, everyone take care. Have a great evening. And we'll talk to you later, 7-3, over to Lisa, KF6QNG, and the Collins Net, W6DQ.
All right, thank you. And thank you again, Max, for running the show and keeping things on target here. Smaller lift, but that's okay. Still fun. So I'll echo Dennis's Happy Father's Day wishes to those that are close to, and everyone be safe, take care, and we'll reach on the air soon, hopefully. So over to W7MS from KF6QNG.
Well, thank you, Lisa, W7MS, and as a father who will be receiving gratuitous Father's Day outings Sunday, thank you much. I guess a little bit of payback for all that fun of child rearing. But yeah, comments on the tower. I was disassembling a beam on my tower at a former residence and had a volunteer acquaintance here in town in Reno that offered to help. And I was totally shocked, as folks on frequency would realize, that this guy had bragged about what a tower expert he was. and general all-around tower climbing expert. And there I am disassembling hardware on the mast, and he's standing right under the tower picking up the hardware I had dropped, and was hunched over. And all I thought was all I needed to do was drop a wrench, and I could kill the guy. And irregardless of hard hat, you don't stand under the base of a tower when somebody's upstairs disassembling something. Needless to say, he became a non-acquaintance just based on his line on his resume. It was I was not happy. I didn't want anybody to get hurt, let alone kill somebody. But that's my standing at the base of the tower story, picking up nuts and bolts. It's I still can't believe it. Not from a tower climbing expert. That's obviously he was proven to be a slight exaggeration. But let me see here. Well, great reception. The comments here. Field Day, Father's Day, and nostalgia. And the book that Chuck had mentioned, yeah, that was a trip down memory lane also. That's a nostalgia item right there, based on decades in the past when I was there turning those pages. But with that, 7-3s from Reno, thanks, Max, for running the show, and grab the binocs and check that water level. KJ6HN W7MS.
All right, Mike, good transmission. Yeah, good copy on the last 4 stations. Very good. Let's see, comments. Dennis, thank you for reminding me about Father's Day. Yeah, you know, the older we get, well, I'll speak in the first person. The older I get, I tend to forget about Father's Day. I have my ex-wife and I have 2 sons. Let's see, they are 33 and 36. And I suppose I'll be hearing from them this Sunday by phone or with a Father's Day card in the mail. Don't know. So anyway, thanks for that reminder. And Chuck, N6AF, stranger in a strange land, yes. And about water, and which also brings to mind the story Dune, or the novel Dune. And it's all about the water. And if you don't have it, you're in trouble. And what I have learned in my decades of living in the desert is that where there's water, there's life. And if there's not water, there's limited life, mainly vegetation, but not so much for the animals. And what's interesting about that is that where I live here in Darwin, which is a dry valley, except for the spring, 7 miles away from town, we don't have the insects and arthropods that depend on the water to feed the insects that they prey on. So with virtually no scorpions, no potato bugs, nothing of that sort. And so, but just 20 miles away in Keeler, where Owens Lake is, where the groundwater is very close to the surface, they have all those critters. They've got scorpions and deer flies and horseflies and termites and all kinds of other insects. So where there's water, there's life. Okay, with that, over to let's see if W6RBJ is there. And then if not, it goes over to W6MBM, and then over to KW1NG, and then over to KK6IRV, and then if he's there, back to me. Otherwise, I'll take over. So, W6RBJ to take it, KJ6HN in the group.
KJ6HN in the group, W6RBJ. Yeah, you're coming up nicely. Max, you were in here at about S7 when we started. You're hitting solid S9 now, so I think it's the time to settle in the west, things are improving propagation-wise. But yeah, not much more to say. I certainly do appreciate the comments about water. I'm on a well here. I live far enough outside of town that I've got a 180-foot deep well that has a nice 3-phase 5-horsepower pump in it that I use to put water up into a holding tank, and when we had our big earthquake here on the coast on the 20th of December, it shifted my tank and snapped my water main, and it took us about 5 days to get things put back together. And let me tell you, when you don't have water, it's a real pain. So I appreciate the fact that water is life, for sure. But it's been great to chat with everybody, and I'm going to give my 73s out. I've got to get up to the house and do a couple of things before it gets any later. So thanks a lot, Max, for running the net, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. So I'll pass it on over to Mike, W6MVM, and the group, W6RBJ. Have a great
W6RBJ, W6MVM. Water comments. We're on that same ditch system that was described through Twainhart and everything else, built by the gold miners in 1860s. So it's that old. It's still there. It's still a ditch, still with these big trussels going across canyons that are built of wood. And wow, I'm amazed that it still works, and it still supplies enough water. Of course, it had to supply water to run gold mining at the time, and it was really interesting how they did that. They ran it down to the gold mines. The guys would run those pressure things and wash the water down, and of course it would run down, and the water company would pick it up again and sell it to the next guy down the hill, over and over again. Anyway, but it's still here, and we're still stuck with it, and hopefully they're going to make some improvements in it one of these days. Anyway, field day is going to be great. Glad everybody's trying to get into it. And also the California QSO party. Look that up. It's a great, and particularly if you're in a rare county, because with your Collins equipment, you can plant and people will come after you, and especially if you got a good signal. Everybody here has a good signal tonight. I'm working on CW. I'm going to give a presentation to the club, just how to transmit words and make it easy to learn words. It's particularly for conversational CW. Doesn't work that well for contest or DX CW, but it's great for conversational CW. I've been running it conversational CW since the late 1950s, early 1960s, and I love it. And so I've run a CW net on for the club here on 7053 Thursday nights at 8:30 California time. Anybody's welcome to join us. 8:30, on Thursday nights on 7.053, the calling frequency for the straight key people. Anyway, and I do run straight keys and often Collins gear. So anyway, good to hear everybody tonight, and so I'll say, let me pass it on to Ken. I think I have W1DG, but I'm not sure. Ken, go ahead, W6MVM.
Great. Real good, Mike. W6MVM, KW1NG, and good on it, everybody. I copied almost everybody this evening. I've got it at 6 noise level, and a couple of them were right down in the noise. But anyway, thank you, Max, for running the net. It's a good net. Tomorrow, I'm going to go to an activity downtown San Diego, put on by the California Office of Emergency Services, the San Diego Fire and Rescue, and a few of the hams locally here that are going to put on a number of presentations on emergency operations and the technology in this operation and so forth. So I think that will be interesting. So I'm going to attend that. Happy Father's Day to everybody. And happy, enjoy your field day activities, whatever they may be. Tower safety, yeah. When I was a teenager,
2-element beam on it. It was about a 35-foot tower, no great shake. But anyway, when I was moving out of my mom's house, I wanted to sell it, and a friend of mine offered to buy it, and he and his father came over, and we hooked up, a rig and all that, where we were tilting it over with some ropes and so forth, and secured the rope to a beam that was coming out of the roof. And lo and behold, that wasn't a beam, it was a decorative piece, and it pulled off the house, a big 4x12 piece, and it hit my friend smack in the head. Gave him quite a concussion. Nobody, of course, we weren't wearing helmets or safety hard hats or anything, so it took him a few weeks to recover from that. So definitely be safe around towers. Wear that hard hat. So, speaking of water, many years ago, my wife and I used to go to plays and light off the plays and all that all the time. And I went to one called Urinetown, kind of a gross title, but it was set in the future in a very dry place where everybody had to urinate into an official collection device where they could take your urine and replace it into drinking water. And that was a law, and if you broke the law, there were severe penalties. So it was kind of a weird play, but it's just they could get that bad someplace. Anyway, everybody have a great evening and a great weekend, and 7-3's all. I'm going to throw it on to KK6IRV if he's there. If not, WJ6W, KW1NG. Good night, all. Okay, KF6BB.
Yeah, I guess Jeff is gone. Let me see if I'm doubling. WJ6W, and very good. Good copying everyone on the last go-round. Don't really have much to add here tonight, so we'll say 73s, and I'll send it back to Max, KJ6A10, WJ6W.
All right, Dave, very good. And Jeff, good transmission. And Urinetown. Well, I'm always one for the obscure film, so I'm going to check that out. Urinetown, that sounds interesting. And let's see, what are my other notes here? KW1NG about water storage, yeah. Yep, back to what I said, where they're in the desert anyway. Where there's water, there's life. Where there's no water, there isn't much life. And people who live on the coast don't really have that much appreciation of water. And I remember many years ago when I worked for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, we had a little outreach program when there was a water shortage, and we held community meetings. And the opening question was, where does your water come from? And most people, not all people, but most people didn't really know. And they said, well, I go to the kitchen or the bathroom and they turn on the water tap and the water comes out. Well, but that's not where the water comes from. And so we got into the details about that, about a 1-hour seminar. So that was real interesting to know, or to learn from my perspective, how many people really don't know where the water comes from. They just think it comes out of the tap. So that's it with that comment. And water flow, Dave. Yeah, yep, all that stuff. So let's close it out here with W6RBP and WA6JKN, and then JKN turn it back to me, and I'm going to pull the curtain.
Max, can I make an announcement for a freebie?
WJ6JKN in the group.
Max, can I make an announcement for somebody who wants a freebie?
Sure, go ahead, Mike.
A friend of mine is selling his house, and he has a Trap Tri-Bander Plus along the boom a 40-meter element. It's so it runs 40 through 10, on the standard bands. It's got a roof mount, about a 10-foot tower that's roof mountable, and a very high-quality rotator. It's free for somebody who would like to pull it off in Groveland, California, on the way up to Yosemite on 120. I just thought I'd put it out and see if anybody was interested. They can contact me on my call sign, W6MDM at ARRL.net. And if somebody wants it, let us know, because we got to get rid of it here in the next few weeks.
Okay, that was an announcement from W6MDM about an antenna tower up for sale. So if anybody wants to talk after we close the net, then go for it. Okay, so W6RBP did not respond, so up to you, Kevin. WA6JKN up there in Gilroy, the garlic capital of the world. You're the caboose in the train. Give us a roundabout, and then I'm going to close the net. So up to you, Kevin. WA6JKN and the group, KJ6HN.
KJ6BB.
Okay, very good. Your question, I got to thinking about it. I think I know the answer. I don't know if it's current, but our water comes from the Lagos watershed. And the only reason I know that is because there was a scandal called Sewergate. And the short version is the city, their water treatment plant or their sewage treatment plant failed. That's what it was. Sewage treatment plant failed. It was a brand new contract. I guess there was some hanky-panky dealings going on there, but it failed. So they tried to cover it up. So they dug a trench to Lagos Creek, and they were dumping like what was it, 250 million gallons of raw sewage into the Lagos Creek. And so that's the only reason I know where our water comes from. So now you know what's wrong with everybody in Gilroy. Yeah. No, it's actually, it didn't make it that far, at least not in our neighborhood. But, yeah, the Lagos watershed, if I remember. So there you go. I think I knew the answer. So, and the water tastes great here. It's clear. And makes a great pot of coffee, and it makes all the stuff in the garden grow really green. Comes with its own fertilizer, I suppose. All right, 73, everybody. Take care. The very best to you and your family. Back to you, Max. WA6JKN is clear.
Well, there you go, folks. The water quality report from Gilroy, California. where the water that flows out irrigates the garden and so on and so forth. So anyway, I'm getting ready for my afternoon nap, which I should have taken about 4 hours ago. I'm starting to fade out. So anyway, thanks everybody for a great net. Everybody contributed in wonderful ways, as we often do. And thanks, and we'll meet up again next Friday. Let's see, looking at my calendar. Yeah, next Friday. And we'll see where the next net takes us. 73, everybody, from KJ6HN, Darwin, California.